The day my wife congratulated me on my promotion was the same day I found out she didn't have a job anymore. She hugged me, said she was proud, and slid a folded note across the counter. It wasn't a love note. It was a resignation letter. Her name at the bottom. Dated 2 weeks earlier. I stood there holding it, trying to understand how celebration and disappearance could exist in the same room. She acted normal. That part unsettled me more than the letter. She asked about my meeting, about traffic, about dinner plans. I kept waiting for a punchline. Instead, she rinsed a mug and looked at me like I was supposed to already know. The paper felt heavier than it should have. I asked her where this came from. She said, "I thought you'd be relieved." Relieved wasn't what I felt. Confused, yes. Embarrassed, oddly. Like I'd missed a meeting everyone else attended. I asked why she hadn't told me. She said she wanted to be sure first. Sure of what? I didn't know. She reached for my hand, then stopped halfway, as if remembering something she wasn't supposed to say yet. We'd been married 8 years. No fireworks, no disasters. We planned. We compared calendars. We argued about groceries, not futures. Her job had always been the steadier one. Benefits. Predictable hours. Mine had momentum but mood swings. Promotions followed by freezes. We joked that her paycheck was the floor and mine was the ceiling, so when she left her field, it wasn't just a job. It was the floor. And she hadn't discussed it. I replayed old conversations, looking for hints. She'd complained about meetings. About feeling boxed in. But lots of people complain. Complaining isn't quitting. Especially not in silence. That night, she cooked. Overcooked, actually. Burned edges. She kept apologizing for nothing. I asked again why she didn't tell me. She said timing mattered. I asked whose timing. She smiled like that was a trick question. We ate quietly, the smoke alarm chirping once before settling down. Over the next week, details surfaced in fragments. She wasn't looking for the same kind of work. She'd enrolled in a certification program. Short-term. Intense. Expensive. She'd paid the deposit already. I asked how. She said savings. I knew our savings. Or I thought I did. I checked our account history. Not because I didn't trust her. Because numbers calm me. There were withdrawals I couldn't place. Not huge, but deliberate. Spread out. I asked her about them. She said they were planned. Planned by who, I wondered. Since this was the first I was hearing of it, she started keeping a new schedule. Early mornings. Late evenings. She dressed differently. Not better. Purposeful. Like she was stepping into a role before she'd earned it. When I asked what the program was like, she gave summaries without texture. Facts without stories. It felt rehearsed. Friends asked how we were handling the transition. I hadn't told anyone. Apparently, she had. Casually. Like a weather update. I smiled through it, nodded, said we were excited. Later, in the car, I asked why they knew before I did. She said she assumed I did know. That assumption lodged itself in my chest. Either she believed it, or she needed to. Both options felt bad. I started to wonder what else she assumed. What else had already happened in her mind. I wasn't angry yet. Anger would have been simpler. One night, her phone buzzed on the couch while she showered. I didn't pick it up. I didn't need to. The screen lit up with a name I didn't recognize. A single word, tomorrow. That was it. No emoji. No context. I sat there listening to the water run. I told myself not to spiral. New programs meant new contacts. Still, my thoughts filled the gaps anyway. When she came out, towel around her hair, I asked who it was. She glanced at the phone and said a classmate. Her tone was even. Too even. I asked if she was happy. She said yes, quickly. Then added, "Aren't you?" I said I didn't know. That seemed to surprise her. She said this was supposed to help us. Us felt like a word she was testing for size. The certification had an orientation. Partners were invited. She hadn't mentioned it. I found out through an email forwarded by mistake. When I asked if I should go, she hesitated, then said it wasn't necessary. I went anyway. Sat in the back. Watched her take notes without looking at me. During a break, a man approached her. Too familiar. They laughed quietly. I couldn't hear the words, just the rhythm. When she noticed me watching, her smile thinned. He nodded at me like we'd already met. I realized he was the one from the phone. Later, I asked if there was something I should know. She didn't answer right away. Then she said the program had been recommended by someone she trusted. Someone who'd helped her before. She didn't say how. She didn't say when. I filled in the blanks myself. I assumed the worst and felt guilty for not feeling worse. An old connection. A new start. The timing lined up too neatly. When I said his name, she didn't deny it. She just said, "It's not like that." Which sounded like a denial shaped by practice. I slept on the couch that night. Not as a statement. As a pause. In the morning, she left early without waking me. On the counter was a note reminding me to eat lunch. The normalcy felt intentional. Like she was trying to preserve a version of us while editing the rest. Days passed. I noticed how carefully she avoided certain topics. Money. Health insurance. Long-term plans. When I pressed, she said we'd talk after she finished the program. As if clarity was a reward for patience. I wasn't sure I wanted to earn it. I considered confronting the men. I even drafted messages I never sent. Instead, I paid closer attention. The withdrawals stopped. Her schedule tightened. She came home exhausted but focused. No secret smiles. No drifting. It didn't match the story I'd built. Then my sister called. She asked if I was okay. Said my wife had asked her about disability coverage months ago. Quietly. Hypothetically. I didn't understand why that would matter. My sister didn't either. That detail didn't fit anywhere. I asked my wife directly about insurance. She went still. Not defensive. Not evasive. Just still. She asked how I'd found out. I told her. She nodded once, like she'd been waiting for that moment to arrive on its own. She said the program wasn't a pivot. It was a buffer. Her old job had phased out remote accommodations. New management. New expectations. She'd been having symptoms she couldn't explain. Fatigue. Tremors. She didn't want to scare me without answers. The man wasn't an ex. He was a former coworker who'd changed fields after his own diagnosis. He'd guided her through options. Quietly. Efficiently. She said she didn't tell me because she wanted to carry it until it was real. Until it had a name. I asked why she didn't trust me with that weight. She said it wasn't about trust. It was about timing. About not making her fear my fear. She wanted to be useful before she might need help. She wanted to choose, not be forced. The savings withdrawals were for tests not fully covered. For the program deposit in case she needed flexible work. She'd built a bridge without telling me she was crossing water. I felt relief and resentment arrive together, arguing over who got to stay. I asked why she announced the career change to others before me. She said because they wouldn't ask questions that mattered. They'd celebrate the surface. With me, she said, everything mattered. She wasn't ready for that yet. I didn't know how to respond. Gratitude felt like surrender. Anger felt ungrateful. I thought about the letter on the counter. How final it looked. How alone she must have felt signing it. How alone I felt reading it. She doesn't have a diagnosis yet. Just probabilities. Plans. Contingencies. The program ends soon. My promotion changes our insurance options. None of it was coincidence. All of it excluded me. We're talking again. Carefully. Like people relearning a shared language. I still flinch when her phone buzzes. She still pauses before answering certain questions. Trust didn't break cleanly. It frayed. Sometimes I think she was brave. Sometimes I think she was selfish. Both can be true, and that's the problem. I wanted partnership. She wanted control. We both wanted to protect something. The resignation letter is still in a drawer. I haven't asked her to throw it away. It reminds me that love can look like preparation. It can also look like exclusion. The difference depends on where you're standing. If you build a safety net without telling the person you plan to share it with, is that foresight or betrayal? If you spare someone fear by carrying it alone, are you protecting them or deciding for them, I'm proud of her, I'm hurt by her? I don't know which feeling deserves more space. Maybe that's the question. When someone changes their life to protect your future, do you thank them first, or ask why you weren't invited to choose with them?